Hello and welcome back, everyone! In the last episode, we went for a little nap.
In this
think...
episode, there's gonna be another nap. Oh, wait a minute. This is only in the alloy smelter?
Alright.
Oh.
So I saw something really weird online, and I just want to see how well it works. Okay, I can't really try it here, I guess.
Yeah?
Where basically you can, like, walk through air just by summoning a thing, jumping on it before gravity makes it fall down. And just constantly doing that over and over again. Alright, so I don't think that this boat was really anything. Where's the map? Alright, so we need to find the other Zoras that are probably somewhere around here. Are there any other missions? No, they're real missions to work on, huh? Nope.
I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't specifically know why that's...
Because it's an earworm. It's made to be, like, addictive.
I mean, that's true. Andrew Lloyd Webber is good at that. It also helps that basically almost every song in the entire opera is basically just a variation of the overture.
Yeah, so it's still hooked on Phantom of the Opera.
Hey, at least I'm not hooked on cats. God,
Oh, but are you hooked on phonics?
I still don't even know what that means.
Hooked on phonics was, I don't know, a book? Or something?
I know it was something that was, like, advertised, like, back in, like, the 90s, and I think it has something to do with education, but I have no idea what it is.
Can't believe you never got hooked on phonics.
I got hooked on Phoenix. Right?
Right?
Yeah, you were a little slow on the uptake on that one.
No. As soon as I heard you say Phoenix, I said, right. You forget that Discord sometimes has, like, 4 or 5 seconds of delay.
Oh.
Well, it's usually more like 1 second, but...
Yeah,
still.
it was closer to, like, 1.5 seconds. Because I gave, like, an intentional pause there.
Da 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 da.
I am very much regretting moving the enhanced alloy smelter down to the dark steel thing.
Because now you want the enhanced alloy smelter and you don't want to have to make another one?
Well, yeah, because here's the thing. There's the simple alloy smelter, then there's the regular alloy smelter, which uses 2 simple alloy smelters, and then there's the enhanced one, which uses 4 regular ones. It's just like, what?
Yeah, it's just
That's
recipes
cool.
made to make it take longer, in essence.
Yeah.
There is a nice sense of accomplishment that's like, hey, we have, you know... It's like with basically everything here. It's like, hey, now we have, like, another crafting table. Woohoo, that's an accomplishment. And then you get a recipe that's like, yeah, you need, like, 100 crafting tables. And it's like, ugh, let's just make all of them.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, and it's just like, oh, also that big old giant battery thing that I made the minimum size for, but it can be up to like an 18 by 18 by 18. And then I'm just realizing, geez, like just making the frame for it It requires, like, stacks upon stacks.
Gosh, it takes a while to heal. Ha! I tricked it! It's slowly getting shot by these Octoroks. Finally! That took forever.
That took 4 beavers?
Oh, it took a lot more than just 4. For a game that I said was, like, so much fun and all that, it really has been a while since I've actually played this. So I don't really know what I'm doing, don't know where I'm trying to go. Don't remember what I was doing at the end of the last time. All I know is I must explore.
Oh, by the way, something funny. Do you remember way back, I think it was like in April or May, I applied for a job and they tried like setting like an age range requirement? Like not just, are you over the age of 18, which they can ask, but that's like the only age-related question like their employers are ever allowed to ask. Instead they're saying, yeah, we're looking for someone between 18 and 30. And I put in like a thing like to the Human Rights Commission.
Oh, good.
It. Finally heard back from them.
Let me guess. No, they're well within their rights to say that they want someone who's basically a minor to do this job.
What?
I said, let me guess what the Human Rights Association said, followed by, like, the worst thing that they could say. Because...
Well, what do you mean, basically a minor?
Well, 18 versus 17 is a minor. 18 is as close to a minor as they can get without it being a minor.
Yes, but again, the question that they are legally allowed to ask is, are you over the age of 18? Which can be, like, requirement, like, for certain things, like certain certifications. Like, you can't serve alcohol, or, like, cigarettes, or anything like that, if you're not legally allowed.
Actually, I heard that for, like, cigarettes, you have to be, like, even more than just 18?
I'm not sure, but all I know is, yeah, basically that is the only question they're, like, allowed to ask.
How do I light this thing on fire? So anyway, what happened?
Because basically, like, I guess they just reached out to me, and, like, there's still more to go. Basically, the only thing that they've said so far, because I guess when I originally did it, I named both the company as well as the person who was trying to recruit me or whatever. And I guess with the way that this works, it can only be, like, against a company, not a person. So basically, it was just saying, yeah, if we wanted to move forward, we will be removing the individualized name. And so far, that's it. But because I don't know if it actually was like the reason I've named the individual person is, of course, I don't know
Yeah,
if it's
well, because that's the person that did it. If it's not company policy, but that one person broke company policy,
yes,
the company
but,
shouldn't be as punished.
yes, and then there's also kind of the thought of, I mean, there's also a good possibility the person was a scammer pretending to be from that company. Which is a different issue, wouldn't really be a human rights thing, but it's just like you would think that they might know how to move in that direction if the person named wasn't actually a part of their
Yeah.
company. So, I don't know.
Oh. Gosh, I heard recently that there's, like, an interviewer. And, like, yeah, they aren't allowed to ask, oh, how old are you exactly? Blah, blah, blah. So instead, he just goes like, yeah, I just asked when they graduated college. Because, you know, that's basically the same question for most people. Woohoo! Controller low on battery. Who could have guessed?
I mean, the thing is, like, that in and of itself should be... I mean, I get it, but if it's relevant, it would have been on the resume or application. Although, that does also kind of tie in, like, a few other potential questions that you could get information. So it could suggest age to some extent. It can also be a way to assess education level. Because what if someone didn't graduate college? What if someone didn't go to college?
But it's like, what if, say for that company that you're talking about, they had a person being interviewed, they just went to college late, or something. Or they, you know, took an extended course, whatever. They didn't graduate college at the same age as the interviewer expects. They're like, oh yeah, I graduated college in 2020.
You know, and
The
then
person could...
and then there's people who, you know, get into college early, because it's not unheard of for someone, like, to graduate, like, high school and attend and even graduate college before turning 18. It's relatively rare, but not
It's possible.
Unheard of. Yeah. So it's just like...
It's like, oh yeah, I graduated college in 2014. Yep. 16 years old. I believe I've heard of things where, like, high schoolers, they take, like, courses, whatever. like they take like college credits while in high school, and I believe that my high schools were like, you know, trying to get their students to do some of these same things, like, oh hey, volunteer at such and such place and you can get some credits for like college or whatever, which I never wound up doing because, golly, I barely even had enough credits for high school itself. I had to take like 2 extra years of online learning to graduate high school. I told you about that, right?
Maybe.
For grade 10, I was in a like full year school. But then we moved away halfway through the school year, so halfway through grade 10, I had 2 credits.
Yeah, I think
When people who had taken a half-year school would have already had, like, I don't know, 20?
Yeah, this is starting to sound familiar. And that really... Like,
I didn't have a choice in the matter. My dad said, nope, turns out we actually are moving halfway through your school year.
Like, why were you moving so much?
Okay. So we had moved.
Yeah?
So for most of it, it was just I hear, like, oh, my dad got, like, a better job somewhere else, so we moved to the better job. So it went from Calgary to another place in Calgary. No idea about that. Moved from Calgary to Edmonton. I believe that was like, oh yeah, better job, blah, blah, blah. Moved from Edmonton to Fort Mac, which... holla. And then, because, oh, better job. Moved from one place in Fort Mac to another place. We were living in an apartment, and then we moved into a house. So I think that was the whole thing there. Moved, trying to remember what that was. Right, moved down to Sherwood Park then. And then my parents got separated, so I moved with my dad down to Kelowna because he had a job down there, whatever. And then apparently halfway through the year, something happened and we moved on over to Beaumont.
So it really sounds like your dad... Honestly, it doesn't sound so much like your dad kept getting quote-unquote better jobs, but more likely he was just bad at every job that he had and kept having to find new jobs away from wherever he currently was because he developed a reputation.
No, he was manager at JustCan for like, I don't know, 6 years? And even like, after the fact, like, he would still go to JustCan and people would, like, you know, greet him kindly and stuff.
Okay.
Although I do remember a time when he crashed the company truck. That was a memory I don't think I'm going to be forgetting. Okay. That's a bit facetious. He didn't crash the company truck. The company truck got crashed into.
So it was involved in a crash, but it was the fault of some other asshole driver.
Yes. I remember we were going on a weekend trip down to Calgary. I was going to hang out with a friend of mine for the whole weekend. I was excited about it. We get up, like, really early for some reason. I remember that, like, 6 a.m. we're leaving. And we get there at, I don't know, 8 a.m. or something. My dad has an appointment with someone. He parks, like, on the side of a road, like, not like a busy street, like one of those back roads, whatever. He parks on the side, walks in. I'm just sitting there in the passenger seat, I don't know, reading a book or something. And I see this giant truck, like, you see those trucks, like, down the highway with, like, the big trailer, right? This trailer looked to be, like, twice as long as a trailer usually is. Like, maybe it wasn't. Forced perspective and all that. Anyway, the trailer backs up onto the street that I'm sitting at. and it backs all the way so the entire trailer, like the entire truck, is on the road. And then it backs up another trailer length. And then it backs up another trailer length right into the truck that I'm sitting in. Like, it just, like, backed out, and they just kept it backing up. Like, it got to a good position where it could just go forward, and it backed up, I think, like, another 50 feet. Yeah, dented the front of the company vehicle something fierce. We had to drive right back, all the way back to Edmonton. Didn't get to even see my friend that weekend because some random bozo decided, I don't know, let's just reverse this to my destination and let's not make triple sure I'm not gonna run into anything. Like, could you imagine if there had been, like, just a person there instead of, you know, a truck? Imagine if, instead, I was just, like, standing outside by the truck, and he just drove into me. Like...
Yeah. I've been hit by a car a couple of times.
I was hit by a truck once.
Did I tell you about the time that was hit by a car while I was riding my bike hard enough to bend like the back wheel of my bike to the point where the bike is basically unrideable? And I still actually did manage to, despite the fact it was bent, I did manage to ride it a bit further. And then I realized, no, this is not working, and I walked it the rest of the way home, and yeah, wasn't happy about that.
Yeah,
and
I can imagine not.
The damage because I was uninjured, but as I have since very much realized, I have very high pain tolerance and like resistance to damage, shall we say?
Resistance to damage, nerd.
Yes, well. To describe it, let's just put it this way. A different incident at a summer camp. During some, like, field game event thing. Circumstances ended up to where my feet were flat on the ground. And my shoulders were also touching the ground behind me.
Flexible.
Yeah, I wouldn't have ever described myself as that before, but I'm starting to realize that's kind of true.
Well, I've messed myself up crawling on a gymnasium floor. Yeah.
But, yeah. Getting hit by a car is not fun.
No, not really, no. Yeah, there I was, biking home after school, and I actually I was thinking to myself, like, huh, yeah, nothing can ever really, like, truly be, like, guaranteed. Because, like, there can always be, like, something that happens that just causes it to, you know, not actually happen the way that one thought. Like, for example, I thought to myself, normally I go home after school, but I could be hit by a car or something and not be able to make it back home at all. And then a few minutes later, I go to, like, you know, cross a street. As I'm trying to cross, the vehicle that I'm crossing in front of just starts going forward. And I'm trying to, like, pick up speed to, like, you know, continue driving around it. And it picks up speed because it's trying to merge into traffic. And it's just, like, the car thunks into me, and then I thunk onto the hood. And I just kind of slide off, and I was like, I'm lying in the street. I should get up and get out of everyone's way. My bike was fine. I was mostly fine. Two of my toes got a bit torn? Whatever. Till my toes were bleeding. And that was it.
Jesus.
Because I was, like, so apologetic, and I'm just like, well, I mean, I'm still standing and stuff, but, like, yeah, I know you're trying to merge into traffic, but you should also watch out for pedestrians. And I just, like, went home and had a bath.
Jeebus.
My dad was, like, kind of, like, angry at me when he heard about it, because I apparently should have gotten the guy's information in case I had to be, like, hospitalized or something. And it's like, oh, yes, like, what if, like, you know, it's like, what if you had, like, internal bleeding and we had to... It's like, well, if I had internal bleeding, I don't know, maybe we should go to the hospital, Dad, to make sure I don't have internal bleeding. I didn't wind up going to the hospital. So I could have had internal bleeding. I'll never know. Probably didn't. I don't know. What are the long-term side effects of internal bleeding? Other than, like, death. So do you ever have, like, those kinds of thoughts right after you've been in an accident of, oh, I'm in people's way. I should get up. No, not really. Just me.
Say that again?
Do you ever have those sorts of thoughts when you get, like, in an accident or something? Of like, oh, I'm in people's way. I should get up.
Oh, no.
Oh, so it's just a me thing after all?
Maybe.
I think I told you about the time that I almost became paralyzed, right?
Yeah.
With the sledding and all that. Oof. I'm trying to think what else. But yeah, well, right, original topic, high school, credits, all that stuff. So yeah, also my gym teacher, like, hated me. I did not do well in gym class for obvious reasons. Oh, that doesn't work. See, I failed gym class, had to take a distance learning gym class, which was strange.
Yes. Go on.
Let's see, trying to think. I also failed social class because I just really did not get along. Who's a what?
You just weren't social?
I just did not get along well with that teacher. Like, I'd hand in an assignment, and, like, the assignment would be fine. Like, maybe, like, worth, like, a 60% or something. Like, it's a pass. Which is all I really cared about. But since it wasn't 100%, the teacher would give it back to me and say, like, oh, do it better. And it's, like, I already have, like, 7 hours of homework from all of my other classes, plus an hour of homework that you gave today. Now you want me to do, like, another couple of hours of homework on redoing homework I've already done. Like, there's not enough time in my home life to do all of this homework. Just give me the 60%, and I'll be fine with that. Give me my passing grade.
Did they even give any guidance as to what needed to be improved, or just do it
I
better?
don't know. I don't know, maybe. I think it was, like... I don't know for sure, because this was so long ago. I think it was the case of, like, they marked, like, okay, these ones are right, these ones are wrong. Solve the wrong ones. Or something. I think that that's what it was. But it's like, I already have so much homework from all of my other classes, and homework from your class, and now you're giving me more homework. Give me my 60% and I'll be good with this. Like, no, it's either 0 or 100. You either do this, and do this, and do this, and do this, and do this until it's at 100%, or you get a 0. It's like, if I work on doing this, I'm not going to do the new homework that you assigned today. Like...
Yeah.
Plus, if I have to try to make sure that all of my homework is 100, I'm not going to be able to do, like, most of my homeworks. So I'm going to be getting a 0 in a lot of courses, because a pass isn't good enough for you, for some reason. But the teacher didn't like that, because from his perspective, like, students should be allowed the opportunity to always get 100s on their work if they work on it, but it's like, there's not enough time to work on everything. Just give me the whatever grade and go. It's like, no, I don't want to. And it's like, you said it was going to be like a passing grade. Just give me the passing grade. Also, how in the hay am I supposed to get this? I don't have, like, fire arrows.
Fire arrows. Fire arrows. La 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 la.
Huzzah! Okay, got this. Woohoo! I don't know if that's intentional or I cheesed it, but I feel like that's intentional. See, like I said, so I failed grade 10 social. So I had to do that in summer school. And then, after, you know, I think it was... I don't remember exactly when. I think it was like after grade 12, I like moved again. Grade 11 or something, I'd moved again. At some point over the course of the year, whatever, you know, some of the other students tried to kill me as a joke, and I didn't feel safe going to school anymore, so I just went distance learning for all of my courses other than drama. So I only went to the school for drama class, and then I went home, and that was pretty nice. But, oh my gosh, distance learning was so different from how it was back in 2020. 2020, like, you could actually, like, chat with the teachers or chat with, like, your classmates and stuff. In this, no. It's like, here's documents of, like, the entire, like, book, basically. Here's documents of all of the reading you're supposed to do for the entire semester. Just all right here. And here's all the coursework you have to do for the whole semester. Do it. You're not allowed to ask questions. If you're not sure about something, look it up yourself. You don't understand what so-and-so such and such is supposed to be, either because it's just not in the writing or because the writing is ambiguous? I don't know, Google search it. Figure it out yourself. Like, golly, my parents didn't know most of these things, obvious. Like, of course. So it's like... So basically I just ignore, like, the book part entirely and just do the assignments and just basically Google everything. Because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to just look it up. It'd basically just be test, 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 test. That's it. And that's the entire, like, semester's work. Just test after test after test. You don't know how to do something? Oh well, look it up. It's somewhere. here's a, 300-page documentation. The way to get to the answer is somewhere in this. Have fun. I passed those courses eventually. I will say, though, distance learning gym was fun.
I will say I did do some distance learning as well. For mostly just for math. And yeah, I know exactly what you mean with the whole thing because... God, sorry.
Yes.
Here's the thing. Like, the reason I was doing distance learning is because I was, like, a couple years ahead in math. And only math.
I did an extra semester of math because I was short, like, 4 credits.
But, so it was all distance learning, and most of it was fine. But there was one chapter, one section, that I just apparently did not actually understand. Because it seemed straightforward. But it turned out, I guess, it was not supposed to be. And so, therefore, I got basically everything in it wrong. Statistics.
Oh, yeah.
Which really isn't math, if you ask me.
Yes, it is.
I mean, just because it involves numbers doesn't mean it's math.
It is math. Mathematical, yes. Statistics, probability, ratios.
Probability is math. Statistics is more of a... It's the thing is, statistics is closer to social studies than it is to math.
I might have had to do a different thing for statistics than you did.
I mean, it still was.
My statistics course was much more like probability focused.
But that's the thing, like, probability is different from statistics. And that, yeah, they're kinda related. But, like...
I still remember learning about the Monty Hall problem in math class.
You still don't understand it?
Oh no, I understand it. I just said I still remember learning about it in math class.
Yeah, in actual schooling, that was never brought up to me until, like, the university level. I learned about it through, well, basically media. Fiction and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, we learned about it in, like... What grade would that be? 11? Grade 11? Which, like, frankly, it's an easy enough concept to wrap your head around if you have someone to explain it to you. Or at least I thought it was an easy enough concept to understand. I got it when I did a few, like, a bit of practical practice with it to understand it. But there are just some people who are presented with it and just refuse to understand in the slightest. God, some people just don't want to learn a thing, and it gets so flippin' annoying, because they're like, oh, I don't understand the Monty Hall problem, can you teach me? And then as soon as you start saying anything about it, they ask like 50,000 questions that are like basically unrelated, and it's like, can you shut up so I can answer any of these? Like, if you have questions, it's like, but who is Monty? What's a hall? Who's the problem? Well, if he has a problem with someone, he should just break up. It's like, that has nothing to do with the Monty Hall problem. Like, but why do they use doors? Does it only work if it's doors? Could it be something else? And it's like, yeah. But yeah, there are some things that just seem like so obvious once you like understand them that some people just refuse to understand. For example, suppose, what is it? Yeah, suppose that there was this, suppose that there are just a line of people walking past a buzzer. And for every person that walks past, there's like a 10% chance that the buzzer buzzes. Random 10% chance.
Alright.
What are the odds that the buzzer will buzz twice in a row?
Okay, so what was the basics of it again? I kind of...
So there's a buzzer that has... There's a line of people walking along and a buzzer. The buzzer has a 10% chance to buzz when a person walks past it.
Oh, and the chance of it buzzing 2 times in a row?
Yes.
Well, that should be 1%.
No, it's 10%.
Oh, right.
Because you're thinking of what are the odds of it buzzing on the first 2 people, but no.
Yes.
Because you have to do it in steps. What are the odds of
Okay.
it buzzing on a person? Guaranteed, it will buzz eventually. Then a 10% chance it buzzes again. See, it's such a simple concept once you realize, oh, right.
Yeah.
And this has actually been extrapolated to, like, real-world probabilities that some people just literally refuse to listen to. Like, what are the odds of rolling a 7 off of a 2d6?
That should be about a 1 in 6.
Yes. And it's very easy to understand that as well, even if you don't know the bell curve. For example, what are the odds of rolling a number from 1 through 6 on a 1d6? 100%, because it's going to land on one of the numbers. What are the odds that a die will roll on the opposite result? AKA a specified number from 1 through 6.
Should be the same odds.
Yeah, 1 in 6.
Yeah.
When the first result is actually 100%, what matters is the second. One person is going to make that buzzer buzz eventually, but what about the person right after them? And, like, I've tried to explain, like, this same concept to people in, like, different ways for whatever is actually applicable. And so I asked them, like, okay, what's the odds of rolling a number 1 through 6 on a 1d6? And their answer is usually to scream at me, that doesn't matter. Did I tell you I used to help an older student with their math back when I was in high school?
Yeah, that happened with me too.
I was in, like, I don't know, supplementary class, whatever. Basically just, here's a class where you can do your homework. During school time instead of doing it at home. And there was this other girl that was there who was a grade ahead of me. I was grade 10, she was grade 11. And I think, like, she wanted help on something with her math homework, but the, like, teacher in charge of the class was busy helping another student. So I looked over at it, it's like, oh yeah, it's this. It's like boom, 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 and that's how you get this. And then just basically from that point on, if she ever had, like, math problems, she would just ask me about them, and it's like, oh yeah, no, it's easy. And despite how easy math was, to the point where I got a higher grade on the math test than anyone else in grade 10 in the entire school district, I still almost failed math class. Constantly. Do you remember when you first had to do, like, algebra?
Sure.
And I still remember my classmates and stuff talking with each other about how hard algebra was and how annoying it was and how difficult it was going to be and all that. And then when we finally actually got started with algebra, it was actually, like, just super bloody easy. And the other students were still complaining about how hard it was. And it was really, really easy. It was like, okay, 2 plus x equals 5.
Oh god, yeah, no. No, that's... I'm sorry. If you have trouble with that...
This was in, like, grade
having-
7. Grade 7 or 8, one of the two. I think this is grade 8. And the students were like, oh, the numbers, I don't... But x doesn't have a value. But I don't know what an x is. The x is a horizontal line on the graph. The x-axis.
Okay.
I was making a bad joke.
Yes.
But yeah. And it's like... When we get homework, that was basically just like a page of like 30 of these questions. Like, we did like, you know, addition, subtraction, multiplication. I don't think we did division with x. At least not at first. And I'd always get in trouble for it. You wanna know why?
Why?
Instead of going through and saying 2 minus 2 is 0, 5 minus 2 is 3, x equals 3, I just say x equals 3. I would never show my work for it, because I look at the question and I can already see the answer.
Yeah, it's like, they want you to simplify, but they want you to do all the steps to simplify it.
Yes.
So that you understand.
30 times over.
It's just like, ay.
Well, I already have like 7 hours of... Or, I think, no, this is like middle school. 6 hours of homework from all of my other courses. And an essay to write about whatever. They want me to spend the extra, you know... Extra 20 minutes writing out all the steps for every question. And it's like... Listen, teacher... You show me, it's like, oh, but you have to know how to, like, show your work. You have to know how you got to the answer. And I have to know that you know how to get to the answer. And I don't care that you're telling me that you know how to get to the answer. I have to be able to see that you know how to get to the answer. So, meanwhile, other students open up back of the book. 3, 7, 2, 9, 14, blah. They get 100% because they got all the questions right. I get, like, 60% because I didn't show my work. It's the same end result. We just put in, like, x equals the number, except they were cheating, I wasn't.
Oh, jeez.
In grade 10, I literally taught myself a different way to do the math that we were being presented, and did it the way that I taught myself instead of the way the teacher was trying to teach it. Because my way was more efficient. I did not get penalized for that, actually. Which was the most surprising part. But yeah, it's like... Right, if you show me, like, a dip... But the most... I don't know. I want to say the most annoying, upsetting, the biggest... Yeah, sure, the biggest annoyance of all of that algebra stuff is we were doing that exact same type of algebra when I was in grade 2. Except instead of an X, it was like a box. It was a square. I got myself stuck right there. We literally get questions of like 2 plus box equals 5, and you have to fill in the box. And I just write like 3, and like, yep, that's correct. But somehow 6 years later, they have to ask the same question, but just be more annoying about it.
Yeah.
Like, I want to learn, you know... It's like, yeah, I know, algebra is important to day-to-day life. Some people say, wow, I'll never use algebra, wow. But actually, if you... Oh, this pond is a heart. But actually, if you ever think about, like, numbers and stuff in real life, you use algebra. Like, if you ever actually do maths and stuff, you do wind up doing algebra quite a bit. It's just that it's, from what I've heard from personal experiences with people, oh, as soon as I'm not at school, I just shut my brain off to math. It has numbers, it's too hard, and I just throw it away and ignore it. And it's like, that is a really bad way to try to live. Just hoping that... It's like, yeah, I don't have any beef with numbers. I just have beef with doing extra work for no actual reason. Blah, blah, they have to make sure that you know what you're doing. Give me a more difficult equation, and I'll show you that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, back in middle school, it's like, yeah, I do difficult math equations for fun. Because this schoolwork is so boring, I have to make up my own complexities. That's strange. Whee! So I'm trying to think of like any like other topics and stuff I learned in school that I wind up using. Like, hey, Monty Hall problem has been... I mean, not exactly... Monty Hall problem hasn't exactly been important, but it has been an interesting way of like being able to see things a different way, and that has been important. Or the 100% probability, like I've said, has been important. Oh god, well, actually, I can relate this to Magic the Gathering. I think this sprung up again a couple of months ago. People going to, like, a tournament, whatever, and they're trying to find a random way to choose which of two people should go first for the game. And some people like to go for evens or odds. They roll 2d6. If they're even, one person goes first. If they're odds, the other person goes first. Judges came in and said, no, screw you, no, that isn't fair. Such and such side is more likely to happen. That is not a fair way of deciding how to go first, and you will be penalized for suggesting this.
Wait, what?
I don't know for sure if the players actually got penalized, because I haven't heard from the judges themselves, but I have heard that judges have gotten, like, mad at mad, maybe. Upset, sure, at players for trying to do, like, odds or evens on 2d6. Because, like, oh, well, 7 is the most likely like, half the time, it's because they say, well, 7 is the most likely number, so you're more likely to get odds than evens. And the other half the time, it's, well, there are more even options available than odds, so it's more likely to go evens.
Oh my god.
And it's like, it doesn't matter how many d6s you roll, it's still an even chance of even or odd result. But some of these judges don't understand that, okay, if you roll a d6, what are the odds of getting a number? 100%! Yes! Now, if you roll the second d6, what are the odds that the second d6... Yeah, it's basically like... Really, this is more of like a 4 quadrants thing. If you roll the first d6, what are the odds of it being even? 50%. Odd? 50%. Put that in, like, the first 2, like, spaces. And then for the second die, it's like, okay, what are the odds of it being even? 50. Odd? 50. even and even is even, odd and odd is even and odd, or odd and even is odd. So it's still 50-50. They could just do one die instead. And that would be simpler. But it's still fair with two.
I'm starting to think that people who find themselves or go out of their way to try to put themselves in positions of authority tend to not really know anything.
I mean, I've told you about all the problems I've had with various, like, Discord mods over the years.
Yep.
And it's like...
Corruption. Corruption and incompetence.
Absolute power corrupts, absolutely. But absolutely on the incompetence thing, there was a CDH Discord server that I was in years ago. And there was, like... It was, like, mostly fine. There was, like, this one player who was annoying, because he just didn't like me, basically, is what it was. And he was, like, the sort of person who, he had, like, one tidbit of information, and he would mention it in every single game. Not the point of this conversation, but whatever. You know, he was annoying, and he tried to get the table to kill me in games. But it's just one member of the server. Whatever. But then, when I was, like, chatting in general chat, and I think at least 2 of, like, the server owners were online at the time, some random person pops in and starts spouting transphobia. And not just, like, idle stuff, like... Not just, like, oh, I don't understand these lady boys, whatever stuff, but, like, oh, I think people like that need to be in a mental asylum, sort of thing. And so I, like, added the mods, like, excuse me, like, are you going to just let people spew this sort of thing on here? It's like, oh, well, we believe that everyone has a right to their own opinion, and frankly, you shouldn't say that their opinion is wrong. We believe that everyone has a right to say anything that they want and believe whatever they want to believe. It's like, yeah, this person believes that I should be dead, and they are completely within their own rights to hold that belief, said the moderators of this server.
Jesus.
Yeah, everyone told me I was overreacting when I went... Because I was actually on, like, a YouTube video of theirs as well. They were, like, a YouTube channel that had a Discord server. People said that I was overreacting when I went on to that YouTube video that I was in, and posted in, like, a message, like, I would like to formally request that that this video, like, be removed because I do not wish to associate with these people, due to their willingness to, allow, transphobia. And transphobic beliefs. And everyone said that I was, like, overreacting to this, and should toughen up and whatever, and it's like... These people want me dead! Like, no, I'm not going to just lighten up.
Yeah, no kidding.
And just... Oh, well, they don't actually want you dead. They just find nothing wrong with, other people saying that you should, be in a... Well, the person didn't actually say you should be dead. They said that you should be in a mental asylum. And, well, the people on the server didn't say you... Like, the owners of the server didn't say you should be in a mental asylum. They said that it's well within someone else's belief to say that you should be in a mental asylum. That's completely different. And you're an idiot for thinking that could...
Yeah,
that them allowing it could mean that they could actually believe these things.
Yeah, like I've said before, I think, what's the best way to put this? You need to, develop a better sense of when people in the server are actually good people.
I mean, usually they just wind up telling me.
Your ability to sense this stuff, like, early on, is terrible.
I mean, I sensed it with, like, the two guys. And then the server owners would just push back. But yeah, in case anyone cares about it, the server in question is the Playing with Power group. Not to be confused with Play EDH, who are also bad. I've heard a lot of rumors about them. I don't know which are true. I just know that I personally have had bad experiences with Play EDH. And, like, I don't want to go and spread around just the rumors that I've heard about what is true, what is not, because I don't know for sure which are true or not. I just know that overall they're all bad. Like, they tried to take over the actually good, maybe, hopefully, CDH server that I am in. They tried to completely take it over and started banning everybody who tried to speak against them. That was quite the day. Was it right? So Play EDH is bad. Playing with Power is bad. Play to Win. I don't have anything against them. I haven't, like, associated with them to have anything for them either. But I don't have anything against them. But it's like, their names are so similar. Like, it's like, how many CDH groups need to be Play? You think you could try to branch off and have a slightly different name so people don't confuse you? But yeah, it's the Absolute Power Corrupts Absolutely one, is the bad one. Play to Win, I've heard that they are trans-friendly. Again, I don't know for sure. Because I haven't ever actually joined their Discord to know for certain. So it's all just things that I have heard. But yeah, I think I told you about the time that someone bribed their way into being a mod just so they could try to get me banned from that Discord. And the owner even admitted that they had bribed their way into being a mod, while also saying they didn't bribe their way, they just, you know, paid me, and under the condition that they become a mod. Which might be the most stupid thing that I have ever heard someone try to authentically say. I think once or twice I was offered the role of, like, or, like, you know, I think a few times I've been given the chance to apply for a mod position on servers. I don't think I want to be a server mod. I just feel like I already find the worst in people anyway. Why would I want to deal more so with the worst of people?
Yeah.
I don't have to be a mod to find the problematic people. I just have to say, I don't think that works the way you think it does. And yeah, how to find a problematic person. Wait for someone to make a claim. Tell them, in a nice tone, I don't think that works the way you think it does. If they start yelling, they're a bad person. Like, I've had it happen where, like, someone says some Magic the Gathering thing works in a certain way, and I say, like, oh, I don't think it works that way. They start screaming at me, blah, 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 mod comes in. It's like, yeah, actually, that person was correct. It does work that way. It's really weird and unintuitive, but it does work the way they said. I still don't want to interact with that person because their first response was to start screaming at me.
Yeah, no kidding.
Meanwhile, I've had interactions with someone that's, like, you know, they try to do their combo, and I say, like, I don't think it works the way you think it does. And they, like, calmly and rationally explain, like, what they're doing and how the cards work. And then, at that point, it doesn't matter who's right or who's wrong in the grand scheme of things, because they're willing to, like, calmly and rationally talk the way through. If they're right, I apologize, like, oh, it's like, oh, I see now the error of my ways. Carry on. Or if they were wrong, it's like, oops, drat, I've been playing it this way for so long. I didn't realize it didn't work. It's like, well, that's all part of life, is to keep learning and growing stuff. Magic the Gathering is a very complicated game. Trying to memorize every possible interaction is just insanity. Magic the Gathering is such a complicated game that it's Turing complete. I think I showed you that video, right?
Yeah, we saw that video, yep.
Yeah. You can turn Magic the Gathering into a computer.
I mean, you can do so many things with Magic the Gathering by turning it into not Magic the Gathering, basically.
Oh god. Someone had said, what is it? You can deal infinite damage as long as the twin primes conjecture is true. And it's like, I think I was able to wrap my head around that, but oh my gosh. So arbitrary.
Much better. So I just spent the past several minutes kind of excavating a bit. We really need to get better solar panels for the power.
Oh, I can't burn the wanted poster. Ouch. Ah, I'm on fire!
What?
Bed, help me! I'm fine.